Why do AI implementation projects often run into resistance? In this video, I will show you how to mitigate resistance to AI implementation within your organization. MIT recently released a shocking report that 95% of AI projects are failing. And do you know what is interesting? MIT stated that this isn't a technology failure, it's an execution failure. Organizational change management is not being done correctly for a lot of these projects, which is leading to resistance. Here's the change management strategic playbook that you will need to help mitigate resistance to your AI implementation. At the end of this video, I will show you step by step how to get this for free and also how to download it. When you open this document, you will see this table of content slide. You want to click on where it says AI risk, resistance, opposition mitigation, okay, which is this right here. And when you get here, you will see this slide. This slide is what you will be using to communicate your AI resistance mitigation strategies to your sponsors and also key stakeholders. You want to start out by including the number of individuals that you included in your resistance management assessment findings. One thing that we normally recommend is talk to your change champions, talk to the project teams, talk to stakeholders to really identify where resistance currently exists within your organization. Most importantly, though, you also want to ask them what are potential areas where resistance might come up. That is what we call a proactive as well as a reactive resistance management strategy. A proactive resistance management strategy involves identifying where AI resistance will come from before it actually happens. A reactive AI resistance mitigation strategy is reacting when you already have identified resistance within different groups towards the AI implementation. So on your AI resistance mitigation deck, you want to leverage this slide and let your stakeholders know your goal is to implement a proactive as well as a reactive resistance mitigation strategy. You can also leverage this next slide, which goes into a little bit more detail about what the proactive approach will be. And then the next slide after that goes into detail in regards to what your reactive approach will be. One key thing that is important to do is communicating your strategies and also your plans, which is why I have mentioned multiple times communicating this to stakeholders, communicating this to your sponsors, communicating this to senior executives so that they know you have a plan to mitigate resistance to your AI implementation. There are some things, though, that need to happen before you start to socialize your resistance mitigation strategies. And those, let's go over to where we say start here on this strategic playbook. So when you get here, you will notice that we are recommending you do your first round of change management assessments when you kick off an AI implementation project. And as you look at this slide, you will notice this first bullet point. We are saying this is where you conduct your risk assessment. Identify where resistance, where pain points currently exist. We also recommend that you do a change impact assessment, which you might already have done to determine which groups will be more impacted than others. So basically identifying the low mid, or high level impact. Something for you to keep in mind is this: the groups with the highest level of impact normally are groups that we see from a change management perspective running into or exhibiting resistance. Now, let us jump ahead here and take a look at a couple of things. I'm just going to fast forward to this slide right here. What we are saying is that there is a wide range of change saturation that are impacting organizations and also personas across the globe. And when we do our various rounds of change management saturation assessment, we often find that targeted personas are currently running into some level of change saturation. Change saturation is different from impact assessment. Impact assessment is looked at from a project by project perspective. So, for example, one project might have a high level impact to IT. Another project might have a low level impact to IT. But when you take a look at all of the projects that are impacting IT, that gives you insight into the level of change saturation that is affecting IT. So it is important not just to look at how your specific AI project is going to be impacting your stakeholders, but it is also important for you to do a holistic assessment to see how all the projects are also impacting the same audience. And then you want to take that into consideration when putting together your change management strategies to address resistance. So once again, coming back to this strategic playbook, we have put it together for you. It includes different sections, not just the section about resistance mitigation. There are other things that are important for you to do to prevent resistance from happening. One of those is providing effective communications about what the AI implementation is all about. Effective communication does not mean sending out a long email to people. You want to ensure your emails are broken into sections so it's easy for people to skim through. You want to ensure that you provide effective awareness. Why is the AI implementation happening right now? What are the driving factors? What is the risk of not changing? What is the WIFM? WIFM is WIIFM. What's in it for me? You want to ensure you are communicating the WIFM to people, as that helps to reduce resistance and increase adoption. You also want to implement interactive engagements, do roadshows, do town halls, do workshops and meetings. Give people the opportunity to show up and ask questions. Give people the opportunity to show up and voice concerns, and then be prepared to address those concerns. And interactive engagement does not have to be in person. It could also be virtual. You can have Zoom sessions. You can have Teams sessions, or you can use whatever meeting collaborative tool your organization uses. Providing training and FAQs and tips and tricks also go a long way to helping people be prepared for a change, which reduces resistance to AI. You also want to be tracking the adoption of your AI tool that you are implementing. For example, if you are implementing Microsoft M365 Copilot, there is a dashboard section where you can actually track adoption. If you are implementing an AI for a CRM or an ERP, or you are implementing ChatGPT or any AI platform, they normally have adoption tracking dashboards. So you want to ensure that you request access. That way you can see the effectiveness of your change management activities, as well as be able to see when groups are not adopting as much as other groups. All of those you can find out by looking at the AI reporting dashboard. When you go to the overview slide of this change management strategic playbook, you will see this summary of what your AI engagement strategy should be. Most importantly is this right here, the AI risk opposition mitigation strategy. Here is where you provide a summary of what your team will be applying to mitigate resistance, which involves the proactive and reactive resistance management activities. And you can see here that includes engaging with stakeholders, gathering feedback from impacted users, gathering feedback from your champions, providing targeted training, ensuring that concerns that people are having are promptly acknowledged, and also ensure that you are letting people know AI is not really there to replace them. Rather, you want to present the positive aspect of AI, which involves increased productivity, saving time on doing mundane tasks, because that's one of the key benefits of AI. Humans no longer have to do those repetitive tasks when AI can get it done within seconds, what normally takes people hours or sometimes days to do. So you want to ensure that you are communicating the key benefits of how AI will benefit the individuals that are impacted by this change. Here's a key lesson I've told my change management clients, and this is something you should keep in mind. AI will not replace humans. Humans using AI will replace humans not using AI. This is the new reality. Let us go over some of the challenges that organizations often face with integrating AI. One of them is employees pushing back on the AI. This is often one of the biggest issues that we see. When I do organizational change management to help increase adoption for AI implementation, this is really one of the things we run into. Why? Because people are afraid of losing their jobs. They hear on the news people being replaced by AI. And so they feel uncomfortable when you or your organization is implementing AI, which is why you want to implement effective awareness communication and emphasize the with them for people, what's in it for them to adopt AI. Another key issue is a lack of trust in AI, because sometimes AI systems, they hallucinate, or they don't provide the right answer that individuals are expecting, or they just straight up say they cannot do something, right? So that often leads to a lack of trust in AI for a lot of people. Another key challenge is there is a skill gap. And even though you might assume that AI is easy for people to grasp and adopt, people often need to be trained on how to use the AI in order to increase their adoption. Another issue that we see is data quality issues. AI models are only as good as the data they learn from. If your organization's data is spread out, insecure, overshared without appropriate user permissioning, oh yes, that's a big issue. And we can have another video that really just talks about oversharing and how that leads to issue when organizations are implementing AI. If you are interested in that video, comment below and let me know. AI will not work well And it might also give wrong or biased results. And sometimes it can lead to confidential data being mistakenly exposed. Another issue is not lining up with company goals. Many AI projects fail because they are not clearly connected to the company's main business goals. If you are not using AI for the sake of getting left behind, because your competitors are using AI, you might waste money and not see little impact. And so it is important that any AI implementation lines up with your company goals. Another very big issue is ethical concerns and also not having the right rules. Without clear rules for AI governance and change management, companies risk using AI inconsistently, breaking regulations, and making ethical mistakes. Another issue is this: company cultural barriers. If your company's culture resists change, if they are not open to new ideas, or if you have departments that don't talk to each other, aka siloed situation, it can really slow down AI innovation and integration. And with situations like this, an extensive level of AI change management will be needed to gain adoption. So take a look at that strategic playbook that covers all of the different change management deliverables and sections that you have to deliver. Now, before we go on to the next slide, take a screenshot of this slide. It's very important so you can make reference to it again and again. And at any point, you can always pause this video to take notes. All right, let's move on to the next slide. Here are the best practices to get past those challenges. You need a smart approach that puts people first. One, create a clear vision and show why AI really makes a difference. That's a big step. Another thing that you want to ensure that you do is you want to get strong support from leadership. You want to build a strong change champion network. Your leaders have to show visible support for the AI implementation in order for employees to actually increase their decision to adopt that AI. Another key solution is figuring out how AI will affect everyone. Not everyone is going to be impacted the same way. You want to prioritize people with high level impact to your AI implementation and ensure you are providing them with the right training, with the right support, office hours, establish a strong champion network within those specific groups. This will really help reduce resistance and increase receptiveness. You also want to develop a smart AI OCM communication plan. Have an open and ongoing communication strategy for AI implementation. Take a look at the free strategic playbook, and that goes into details in regards to how best to address employee concerns directly, how best to provide awareness about what AI will do and what AI will not do, how AI will help people become more effective and also increase productivity, how you should be sharing success stories. All of those things are key to increasing AI implementation um, uh, within your organization. Here's another key one. You want to make training and skill development a top priority. Invest heavily in thorough training for AI adoption. Offer learning chances specific to the different impacted departments, the different impacted job roles. Do workshops, do hands-on training delivery. This really helps close the skill gaps that we see when an organization is implementing AI. For example, a lot of organizations right now are implementing Microsoft Copilot for M365. And even though the expectation is it should be easy for people to learn how to use Microsoft M365 Copilot, that is not the case. You have to train people, you have to give them hands on support in order for them to really increase their ability and also proficiency to using the AI that your organization is implementing. Here's another important step: involve everyone from the beginning. You want to get employees, managers, and key people involved in the AI development and rollout process right from the beginning. People want when a change is happening with them, not to them. Obviously, you cannot include every single impacted individual at the beginning. If, for example, your AI implementation is impacting 500 people, 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, you cannot include everyone. And so you want to ensure you include the champions from each of the different impacted groups, identify champions. And when you communicate the AI implementation, you want to let everyone know that have been impacted, that AI is coming. And right now, you on the team, you are engaged with individuals from their department, aka the champions. So when you let people know that you are planning and developing the right processes for implementing AI, and you are talking to not everyone at the same time, but rather talking to a small group of individuals from their champion, they feel, they, as in everyone, feel represented. So if you're rolling out to 20,000 people and you are communicating with 20,000 people, you can tell them we are talking with 50 people within all your different departments. Even though you are engaged right from the beginning with a small number of people, everyone feels represented. Something that I also do to increase my change management success is I include the list of change champions on some of my communications. That way, people that are impacted, that are not champions, they can reach out to their champions and say, hey, I have an idea, or hey, I have a question, or hey, I have a concern. And they wouldn't know to do that if you don't include the list of champions. Okay, so just something for you to keep in mind. Also, you want to implement a pilot. Very, very important to implement a pilot because you identify lesson learned and you implement the right implementation to the rest of the organization by fixing issues that you identify during the pilot. You also want to set up strong AI rules and ethical guidelines. Your AI usage policies have to be very clear and also well documented. This helps to build trust in using AI. You also want to encourage people to learn more by leveraging the Exchange Champion Network, by reviewing the FAQs, by reviewing resources, because this really helps to increase people's adoption. So if you're asking where to access the change management strategic playbook to mitigate your AI resistance or the communication templates, here is how you can access all of these different free resources. So go ahead and click on the link under this video that is to the right of the all-in-one change management software free trial. And clicking on that link will bring you to this page. You will notice we are providing you and everyone else with a free 14-day trial. This will give you the ability to download the different free resources that you need. So go ahead and enter your first name, your last name, and also enter your email. And you can enter your phone number for two-way authentication factor, or you can leave that blank. Enter your company name. You can also just enter your first name or your last name also. Name your first project. This helps if you decide to poke around and use other tools within the software. A lot of people just say first project and then click on I am not a robot. We do assume you're not a robot, but go ahead and click on it and click Start My Free Trial. And the system will bring you to the main dashboard. On the left sidebar, you see where it says Free Resources. Click on it, and it will bring you here. What you are looking at is over 100 free change management and project management resources you can download. For today's session, scroll down and you see where it says OCM Playbooks. Click on it. And that will show you the list of available playbooks you can download. For today's session, you want to download the one that says OCM Strategic Playbook for AI Implementation. Click on this download arrow, and you can download that free resource. While you are here, you can poke around. For example, the impact assessment. We have free resources for you here. Communications, we have a lot of communication samples. We have an AI change communication plan and roadmap. There are many other free resources, as you can see here, including this one that says resistance management. You click on it, and you have a resistance management checklist that you can follow step by step. There's also guides for how to identify resistance and how to manage resistance. I recommend you invite other members of your team to also join your account, and you all together can test out the system. How do you add others? Very easy. On the left sidebar, scroll down to where it says user management. Click on it, and it will bring you here. It will say one user, which is you, and you can create additional users up to 10 people per account. So you and 9 other people can use the account during the free trial. If you all decide to subscribe, you can have unlimited number of people joining, but during the 14-day free trial, 10 people can be using the account at the same time. So enter one by one the first name of the person you want to invite, their last name, their email. The user role can be admin, which allows them to use the entire system, but they cannot manage subscription. So if you guys decide to subscribe, admins cannot make that subscription. Account owners can. So you can decide to let somebody be an account owner and an admin. There can be multiple account owners, and there can be multiple admins. So you can click admin and then create a username for the user, and you can enter their job title or leave it blank, and then click on create user. That is how you add those additional 9 people to your account. So up to 10 of you can all be using this platform for the next 14 days for free. So those are the high-level best practices for mitigating resistance to AI implementation. Go ahead and watch the next video and continue to increase your success. And don't forget to like this video so I know you have found it valuable. And also subscribe to our channel for more content.